Today we're going to learn how to pronounce the Swedish R. Låt oss börja.
Hej och välkomna till Coffee Break Swedish. Jag heter Mark.
Och jag heter Lovisa.
And as Lovisa said, we're going to be tackling the Swedish R today. This is all based on Burke's question. Burke's got in touch and asked us, can you help me with the Swedish R sound? Now, Lovisa, it's a tricky sound for learners, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be,
Okay.
if you think about it too much.
Okay, that's a good bit of advice to start with.
Yeah. Well, it happens differently in different parts of Sweden. So where I'm from, for example, we like to roll our R's a bit more. But if you go to the south of Sweden, for example, they have more of a French R.
Oh.
But it is important to know that both of these are perfectly fine. And if you pick one, no one's going to say that you're pronouncing it wrong or that you're doing it wrong. Both are perfectly fine.
Okay, let's look at the rolled R, because I think that's what a lot of people sort of associate with Swedish. Can you give us some examples of this rolled R, or how do we make that rolled R first of all?
Well, the rolled R is pronounced in the front of our mouth. And we make the sound by pushing air through our mouth and like trying to get our tongue to vibrate.
Okay.
So, for example, this is what it would sound like.
How's that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, and that happens within the sound. So let's say, for example, where are you from?
I'm from a city called Örebro.
Örebro. So we've got a kind of double rolled R in there. Örebro.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Can we practice this with some words, perhaps?
Yeah, we can look at a few different Swedish names, for example.
Okay, so you can give us them, and we'll repeat these after you.
Yeah, so we can start with Rasmus.
Okay, Rasmus. Okay, Rasmus. So one more time.
Rasmus.
Rasmus. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you had said that in the south of Sweden it sounds a little almost like French, so could that be kind of Rasmus or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm not going to put on an accent there because that's not going to work. But we'll stick with Rasmus. Okay, so let's hear another one.
Ruben, for example.
Ruben. Okay, Ruben, another name. Something else.
We can also say Rebecca.
Okay, so we've got Rebecca. Rebecca. Okay.
Mira.
Right, so there it's happening in the middle of the word. Mira.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and it's that same R again, Mira.
Yeah, it's always the same R in these examples. And then we have a name Sören, for example.
Sören. Okay, Sören. Right, let's hear those one more time.
Rasmus. Ruben. Rebecca. Mira. Sören.
Excellent. Now, R's also happen in words in different locations, and sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, they can change the pronunciation a little bit.
Yeah, and we have 4 very specific letters that this phenomenon sort of occurs with.
Okay.
So, for example, when R is combined with T.
Okay. Can you give us an example?
We have the word kort.
Okay, so kort. That's like a credit card as far as I remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Kort. So we're not saying kort. We're not rolling that R there.
Exactly. It becomes more of a t sound.
Yeah, so it kind of joins together with the T and kort.
Exactly.
Okay, so what other situations?
We can also combine the R with an N, and we've seen the word barn.
Barn. Okay, so barn. Again, it kind of joins with the N. Barn.
Exactly.
You're almost not hearing the R at all there.
Yeah. The N is like very pronounced in that case. We also have the letter S, so RS, for example. And then we can look at the word mars.
So that's the month of the year, mars.
Yeah.
So there we make the R join the S and it becomes a sh sound. So mars.
Exactly.
That's what we saw also in Varsågod.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so mars. And one more you said?
Yeah, we have the letter D as well.
Okay.
So RD. And an example of this would be the word bord.
Board. Okay, so that is the word for a table. And again, we're not even hearing that R in there. Board.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so we can think of the R happening, but sometimes it's just joining the next letter and kind of making the next letter sound a little bit different. Let's go through those 4 words again. So the word for card,
Kort.
the word for child,
Barn.
the word for march,
Mash.
and the word for table.
Bord.
Excellent. So sometimes we roll our R's, sometimes it changes slightly the consonant that follows. That's the kind of simplified version of how to pronounce an R in Swedish. And Birks,
Yeah.
we hope that helps you. If you have a question like Birks, then do get in touch with us. You can send your questions at coffeebreakquestions.com. Go there, fill in the form, and we'll hopefully be able to include your question in a future episode of the show. And if you found this useful, if you now know how to pronounce an R in Swedish, and if it's a little bit tricky, then keep practicing with that whole rolled R thing. Then you can also like the video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click the little bell icon that appears, and that way you'll be notified of any new videos that we're posting to help you with your Swedish. Lovisa, do you mind if I say one extra thing here?
I don't mind at all.
I think it's important to stress that if you're attempting to speak with a Swedish accent, if you're trying your best in Swedish, even if you get your R a little bit mixed up, or if you're not quite able to do that rolled R, I think Swedish speakers will still be very grateful that you're trying it out. Would you agree?
I can promise that any Swedish speaker will just be overjoyed when they hear someone trying to learn the language.
Jättebra. Okay, thank you very much, Birks, for your question. And we'll be back soon with more Coffee Break Swedish. For now, tack så mycket och hej då!
Hej då!